Hi there. We're going to be looking at comparative and absolute advantage today. My name is Mr. Campbell, and Miss Berghorn's also going to be there helping things out to help you understand how to make sense of why do countries trade. So let's just say Peyton's Manning car broke down. Should he spend the time fixing it, or should he let somebody else do it? This will take many hours for him to go off and not do football and fix his car.
I'm pretty sure he did that during the last Super Bowl then. He must have been out fixing his car.
That's probably true. He didn't play so well, and he's no Tom Brady. But if he does do that, he's not going to make the money that he normally would playing football. When he plays football, he can make a whole lot of money per hour. So it's more effective for him to let a specialist come in, like a mechanic, and let us pay him to fix the car while he's off making more money playing football. So he's going to specialize, and this is what countries do when we look at absolute and comparative advantage. They're going to find which countries are specialized and can do it more effectively than somebody else.
Okay, so let's break down the difference between comparative and absolute advantages. When we talk about comparative advantage, this means you have a lower opportunity cost. Remember in Module 1 we talked about opportunity cost is the opportunity you lost. And so what happens then is this leads to trade and specialization. When you specialize in goods and get better at them, you then look for who sacrifices less between two items. Now, absolute advantage, I think of this as someone is absolutely doing it better than the other. It's less resources required, leads to more production and exports, and you look for who produces more with less resources.
Okay, so let's look at absolute advantage here on the chart. You can see here we've got three countries, the United States, China, and Brazil, and we're looking at three different products, cars, tablets, and coffee. So now with the absolute advantage, you're just going to be looking at one column at a time. So if you look at cars, you're going to see here that the United States has an absolute advantage because they can produce the car in 3 hours versus China taking 5 and Brazil taking 10. So the United States will have an absolute advantage. If we look at tablets here, you can see China now has the absolute advantage in making tablets because they can do it in 2 hours versus 4 or 8. And then in coffee, you can see Brazil has the absolute advantage here also because they're going to do it in less time like we talked about.
All right, and so then with comparative advantage, we're just going to compare these two products between the US and China. So we have cars and tablets. It takes the US 4 hours to produce a car and China 2. And then it takes the US 3 to produce a tablet and China 5 to produce a tablet. So what we want to look at with comparative advantage is the subtraction of additional worker hours to produce 1 unit of cars instead of 1 unit of tablets. So we're going to subtract these, and we're going to find that 4 minus 3 gives us 1 additional hour. And with China, 2 minus 5 gives us negative 3 additional hours. Negative being a good thing in this scenario because we're looking for the lowest number of additional hours. So China, therefore, has the comparative advantage.
Okay, so now you may ask, okay, that's well and good, but how does this really apply? So we're going to take a second to show you. So let's say with comparative advantage, we need to have the United States here and China again. And now we're going to look at TVs and iPads. And each country needs these products. So if each country, let's say, needs 10 of each, we can do the calculations to see how much time it will take them. So if you go through the first line there, you'll see if the United States wants 10 TVs and 10 iPads, well, you'll go 10 times 10 for TV, giving you 100 hours, and 10 times 15 to give you 150 hours. So you can see it takes them a total of 250 hours to make their 10 products. And you can do the same thing with China, and you'll see now they'll have 130 hours to make TVs and 160 hours to make iPads, giving them a total of 290. So if you add those together, the total hours from both countries would take 540 hours. Now, if they work together using comparative advantage and decide to team up, and now the United States will, let's say, make 20 TVs because they have the comparative advantage in TVs, and it'll take them 200 hours to make the 20 TVs. China now will make iPads because they have a comparative advantage there. And you can see this on the chart above. With China's, only takes them 3 additional hours instead of 5 to make those iPads. So you go 20 times 16, and that's going to give a total of 320 for them, and you combine them together and it's 520. So if they work together through comparative advantage, they are able to produce the same number of items but now in 20 less hours. And that's the idea of comparative advantage. Countries are going to work together to make more stuff in less time, which by the way saves you money. So this leads to this concept of free trade. Makes countries interdependent on each other, because if they trade together, they're able to produce more things. And you can see in the green here, we have NAFTA, where the United States and Canada and Mexico work together to trade free and make more stuff. And then also in blue here, you have the EU, where the European nations rely on each other through interdependence. And they're, again, also able to reach that goal through comparative advantage to trade more things. I hope this helped you understand the ideas of comparative absolute advantage, and I thank you for spending time with us.
Yay, reach out for additional help anytime from your teachers. They are also experts in this.
Have a great day.